Dearly beloved, we are gathered here to talk about the Syn Trac. Wahaha. I couldn't help myself. Alright, so this is a mod showcase of the Syn Trac, and much like the Hudig, this is going to be a doozy. And honestly, I may miss a feature here or there or something, but just in the basic overview, you're going to see how versatile this thing is. So, when you buy a Syn Trac, this is your base Syn Trac. I'll go into the vehicles real quick so you can see. It's got a few customizations, not a ton. Your rim colors can be anything. Your main color is limited to the 4 colors. Your dark gray, red, um, communal orange, and white. I tend to prefer the white the best myself, but the way it works is your design color is all the body panels that you can see. So, orange, white, you get the idea. Rim color, as I said, you know, anything. And then your main color is kind of the frame and the other plasticky parts. So, not all of it. Sorry about that. Not all of it, obviously, but accents, if you will. The rest of it stays that kind of matte gray. Your configuration is... Oh yeah, okay. So here's where it gets interesting. Basically, you start off with a all-wheel drive quad steer. They call it a 2x2. And what it is it can also turn into a 6x6, if you will, or a 2x4, 4x6, something like that. But basically, this adds on modules in the back and more wheels. It looks kind of funky. I'll show you. Like that, right? And if you go down to wheel setup, you got to cycle through the tires first, and then you get to the other wheels. So it turns into basically a 6-wheeler as opposed to a 4-wheeler. And then varying tire choices for that as well. So if you have one or the other on there, you know, it looks strange. Now you can change the back end on the 6-wheel version. I'm going to actually put that back so it's got wheels so it doesn't look so weird. And basically, if you take that away, then you've got the wheels without it, so it looks funny. But just make sure your wheels and your adapter match, and you'll be fine. And I'll show off that one too. Engine setup, it's not a power. Your base power is 420 horsepower. You got 480 liters of fuel, and it goes 49 miles per hour. Now, the engine setup goes from 60 kilometers an hour to 80 kilometers an hour, so it goes faster. It doesn't change up there, though. So, I want to say it's... God, I can't remember. And then capacity is the cover. That's basically the covers that where all the attachers attach. So you can choose to have that just off by default. And obviously when something's attached to it, the attachment will have its own cover, if you will. But again, we'll show that off. And that's basically all your options. So in front of us we've got what they call the 2x2. It's definitely a good looking kit. This one's got the wide Michelins on it. So start off, we'll go... it's got one hell of a truck horn. You got your lighting, and this lighting is awesome. Full 360 lighting. It's bright as hell at night. Let's see, your left blinker, your right blinker. I'll shut the fronts off. Left, right. And one of my favorite things is the beacons on this thing are super bright and very, you know, LED flasher type. So, and if you look inside, you got all these details. Now these panels correspond and they move about the cabin depending on what attachment you have. Oh, one other feature before I forget. Where is it? Which one is it? I'm gonna need my help window open for this. Of course, it's not gonna cooperate now. Maybe because it's not on. Hold on. There we go. Jeez, I'm sorry. Alright, the tractor's got to be running, but basically it turns your sunroof into a mirror. So, when you drive it backward, you can see it is basically your rear view, which is a really cool feature. It does help when like lining something up if you want to play realistic and go first person. And it has one other feature too, which I may do a cut to another scene where you guys can see it in action, but basically it's a self-leveling. And if you look at the steering wheel real close, if I hit fold tractor, L1 and X, see the light goes off or on? And basically what that does is when you're on a hill, the cab will stay straight, but the tractor will tilt. So, cab leveler, self-leveling, I forget what they call it. So, nifty feature. Alright, one thing. This is just to show off the tilt function that I was telling you about, the cab leveling. So if you go to unfold tractor, you can see the cab stays level on this hill. Turn it around and it adjusts to the terrain so that the cab stays level, even if the suspension obviously is, you know, following the ground. And then, like I said, in cab, the little light inside the circle dial will turn off when I turn it off. Two other features I wanted to mention real quick because I forgot to put them in the video. One, when you unfold the tractor, there's a little light there on the dash in the center. So you know if you're playing first person, you can actually see which state you're in. And the last thing is this has a flippable cab, so you can drive it in reverse. So, things to know. Alright guys, back to the video. So, nifty feature. Alright, so I think that's all the base features until things are attached. Again, I might miss something here or there. This has a lot to it, just like the HUD. But the mirrors do work. They are pretty accurate. I know sometimes you get mirrors in tractors and they're horrible. Like they're just aimed off or they're aimed right at the tractor. So I'm going to leave the help window open just because it'll make life a little easier. Alright, so let's see. We're actually going to jump in the white one because the white one's where I want to start. I got stuff scattered all over the place, so okay, we're actually going to take this red one. So a few things to note. When you attach something, you have to unfold the tractor, which is basically L1 and left. I know mine says 5, it's because I got the side panel. And what happens is, if you saw that, it drops down and the covers come off. If you went for the option that has the covers off all the time, then obviously they're off all the time. but you really have to be in this unfolded to attach. You can sometimes pull it off if you get it just right, but sometimes it jerks, gets wonky, or it jumps to it, you know. So these right here are 3-point link adapters, as you can see, and you gotta kind of, you can manually move them too, like you can adjust the height on them and everything, which can come in handy sometimes. Other times it's kind of a pain, because then you'll lower something and it'll be a little low or a little high. If you just kind of move them up, and then once you attach something to it, just kind of leave it. You can fine tune if you want, it's up to you. So I've got a front one here with the variations to it, and I'll show you these two, and then ones with fenders and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and like I said, quad steer, 420 horsepower. So the thing, short wheelbase, it's basically the size of a telehandler, basically. And if you actually see that real close, if you look at the cab actually does shift and everything. It looks really cool. So if we go into the store, I have too many mods. I feel bad for PC guys. Alright, so standard adapter, like I said, it's your standard 3-point adapter. And then I'm going to go through these just so I don't have to go through them each time. Your support adapter, which I will show off a little later. Your link adapter, which are for mowers, and I'll show that off a little later. Schoenhall's adapter, which is for goosenecks, basically. And your elephant loader is your kind of front loader telehandler. And then I'll show off some of the other stuff, but there's definitely a handful of things. So, as I said, basically standard 3-point adapter, you know, attaches to anything 3-point. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. The only thing I will say is, I forgot. And here I am like, no, I'm not going to jump through the menus a million times. Bam, we're back in the menu. Cycle through all the HUD stuff. Oh yeah, this is what I want to show you. So your design color is the little grid. And then your main color is the little cap. So the basic body and the mechanicals of it stay that gray. And then your design is, you've got lights, beacons and stuff. Or not beacons, but like basically lights. You can have it with fenders or none. And then cover on, or capacity on this one adds your hose connections. So if it's on the rear, it looks better. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's pretty simple with 3-point links. I feel like there was something else I wanted to mention about them, and I can't for the life of me remember what it was. Oh yeah, cycling through. Much like the Hudig, this one is very kind of jump through heavy. It's not a good term, but basically when you have multiple things attached, you do have to cycle through to make sure you're on the correct implement. I've done that a dozen times where I'll be, you know, on the rear implement and I'll be trying to move the front loader or something and it doesn't work, but it's user error, not mod error, you know what I mean? Alright, so that's that one. Now, I think what I'll do is I will remove the back. Oh yeah, when removing or attaching any of these, especially removing, I'm going to detach this and then wait. You see how it lifts up? It's got a little platform that raises it off the ground slightly, which is why it makes it difficult if you're up high, because you'll hit it. And if you disconnect it and then try and drive away real quick before it lifts. Sometimes it'll catch on the vehicle and either pull it or it'll make it flip over, stuff like that. So just give it that second to disconnect and you should be fine. Alright, second one for the moment is going to be this. And there's two versions of this. This is the support adapter. Now this comes, basically you can do the same things with, see I've got fenders and lights on here. You can have it just with the lights, or I believe with nothing. And the support adapter is useful for a multitude of reasons. And I'll show a better example over there. But you can get this just base as it is with this, or you can get it with a adapter for wheel loader and or telehandler attachments. And the thing I like about this is it's basically a transporter, if you will. I don't know if there's actually other things you can do with it, but it's got a full range of motion. And then, like, let's say you need to grab a pallet and you're moving it around your farm. You don't have to worry about dicking around with you know, pallet forks or whatever. It's basically, it's almost like a big bag handler, but for the Syn Trac. So you can go drive around. It's a little glitchy, not glitchy, but a little wonky, but it won't go anywhere. Like, it won't actually fall off. And you can move your pallet around, bring it back, put it down, all that stuff. And there you go. That's that part. Now there's more to it, but that's just the basics. Oh shoot, that's what I forgot. Okay, real quick, before I forget. Okay. I'm actually going to take that off and I'm going to show you on the other one. Everything, and this is where I'm going to be jumping around because there's so much to this thing. Everything, as I said before, has its own screen, right? So, for instance, with this, and this is that same adapter, the only difference is this one has a connector for front loaders and what do you call it? Telehandlers. So you can attach equipment as well, and then move it around your farm. Or if you need to move something, like let's say you go to the store and you're like, okay, well, in a case like this, you've got your elephant loader, which is basically a telehandler. This you can configure for wheel loader or telehandler attachments. I know I'm jumping all over the place, and I apologize for that. So basically, it's a telehandler wheel loader attachment. It's got amazing reach, but at the same time it folds up really nice into like this nice little package. And if I remember correctly, there's another range of motion to this too. I might have to redo this video. Alright, so back to what I was getting at. The nice thing about that one is that one actually gives you a view of it on the screen. But basically the way these work is if you, let's say I'm on, say, jumping around right here. If I go to unfold front loader, it gives me actual, I wish I could zoom in on that. But if you look at the red bar on the right, you've got, oh, sorry, it's the little skinny blue bar in the middle. There's a tiny little red dash that lifts as you go. So it basically tells you the height of the implement, and then the other bar right there tells you the tilt. And the red one, I think, I'm not sure what the red one is. Oh. It's not that. Okay, yeah, I forgot you can pivot that. So you can lift this way up, and then pivot that even higher. Alright. And then for instance with this one doesn't actually show you the angle and height, I don't believe. No, this one's just for active and inactive, and I'll explain what that does. So, as I said, quick overview, basically it's your telehandler, front loader, arm mechanism that will attach to implements and allow you to, you know, do front loader and wheel loader things and telehandler things. It's got a good reach and it tucks away real nice. Now, on to, yeah. So yeah, with anything CSZ, they actually give you like a viewpoint that is directly on that implement. Alright, so now, on to this piece of equipment. So like I said, the thing I like about this is it allows you to transport things. And you can do this with pallets and stuff too. It allows you to kind of fine-tune, adjust the height and or area you want something. I'm trying to get this where I had it before I was setting up. Alright, so you got the height, right? Now let's say, because you're at the store and you've got your big bag handler because you loaded up some pallets onto a trailer, but you need to pick up this bale fork you just bought. Well, you can still attach to a trailer, even with that on. So now you're transporting multiple pieces of equipment. And let's say, or you just bought this new truck, and you want to take the truck back to, well now you can, because you get this fancy, oh, and, oh, that's what it was. There is a height adapter on here. Ah, so much stuff, so much stuff. I've got too much attached to it now to remember exactly which one it is, but this actually has, no, it's just the ring pin. It's actually got a height adapter on it, but not for this one. Alright, well, that was, oh, it's probably because I'm low. Remember to raise up your vehicle, folks. Nope, still not gonna go on. Well, this is turning out not the way I had intended. I don't know why I'm so determined to get this on there. And of course it's a 500 point turn because you can't turn the wheels all the way because it's a low rider. 115 point turn later. Will it go? Yes it will. Thank God. Alright. Oh yeah. The function. This. See how I just turned that to inactive? It's active. You turn it to inactive, now it won't move. So it locks it in place so you don't accidentally move it and jam it into the trailer and then send stuff flying and all that stuff. So now you can take your whole setup, your new bale grab, your trailer with your brand new pickup, your bale handler, all that stuff, all in one trip. It's especially handy if, let's say, you go, you know, you're doing multiple jobs, like you gotta go, especially if you have multiple farms or you know, you're on a big map where you've got to travel from one spot to another to do something. So you take your bucket on the front and you've got your bale grab on the back, or a bale fork, or pallet forks on the front because you got to move some pallets, but you got a bucket on the back because you need to move some silage, or you know what I mean, mix and match. Basically, the back one will attach to wheel loader or telehandler either. The front one, you have to choose which one you want when you configure it. And basically all of these implements have the same four color scheme. The only difference with this one is it doesn't have a cover unless you put one on. Except this one you can actually change the frame color. And then the main color is just the little lights. See, you can put the cover on it. And then wheel loader or telehandler, you can only have one on the elephant loader. I mean, obviously you can go into a store, if you've got a maintenance area, you can configure it however you want, change it back and forth. I would recommend pick the one you use the most stuff from and stick with it. But yeah, basically, like I said, that's the elephant loader. Alright. Now. Oh yeah, I locked it. See? You gotta unlock it to move it. Which is nice, like I said, because then you don't run into stuff. And as I said before, it's one of those that, you know, you really... See? I started pulling away and it pulled on it. You know, you really gotta like using multi-tool equipment to... I mean, not necessarily. I mean, if you just had 3 points on this and occasionally switched out the elephant loader. But I mean, you can go really crazy if you want to. Alright, I think this will be the next one over here. This is cool because... Would you like to have your own fertilizer spreader built in? Nifty folding animation. Let's take a look at it in here. Alright. 24 meter spread, 3,600 liters of fertilizer or lime. Now, I have not tested this to see if it, you know, sometimes with fertilizer lime spreaders, the lime spreaders spread slightly less, like at an 18 meter spread or something. I haven't actually checked this, but it says 24, so it's definitely 24 for the fertilizer. The lime might be 24, might be less. So, but like I said, built for it, built onto it. Another awesome addition. The one on the front is this. It's the New Tank 2000L Arcade. Now, the Arcade I will explain as best I can because I have not done extensive testing, so I don't know all the ins and outs. I know Mr. Sealy P did way back in the day. If you want like more detail, definitely go check his out. I'm just doing kind of like a quick overview to tell you how versatile this thing is. And this is under planters. There's your arcade, which is basically your typical seed and dry fertilizer tank. 2,000 liters. There's a pro version, which does dynamic weight and display controlled drive laner for static mounted seeder. I believe what they mean is it's the weight is simulated better, and I believe there's a readout on the screen, which I will look at in a moment. This is the Pro, but this also has, see the hook? You can hold a big bag, you can lift a big bag with it and refill it, or carry a big bag around above it while you drive around to refill. So like I said, I mean it's a fertilizer spreader at the end of the day on the back. And this one is your seed tank. So you open it up, fill it with seed, or fertilizer actually. So you could technically put 2,000 liters of dry fertilizer in here, and your 3,600 back here, and now you've got a 5,600 liter fertilizer spreader. And see, the feet, gotta wait till it comes up and then it'll come out properly. Some get a little wonky, but these two are really good about that. And you just drive away. So again, pretty self-explanatory. Seed tank, and obviously the seed tank or the fertilizer tank will work with, you know, let's say you've got a seeder on the back, or, you know, whatever, planter on the back. You want to have that little bit of extra seed capacity. That's where you get it. Alright, this one's a really cool feature right here. Pretty simple. It's a fifth wheel attachment. So now, as I said before, I'll show you on a different piece. Obviously you can adjust the height. That's on the trailer, not the adapter. I'm leaving it low just because I keep attaching and detaching things. But you've got your, you know, your trailer. Or the one thing I like, I love this Queco Tank. They've got the smaller Queco Tank, but if you want to do some big stuff, this one's nice because I know I'm trying to remember. There's a way to raise that up, but you basically can run this, and I believe it's 30,000 liters. 30 meter spread in the basic form, 30,000 liters, and this will obviously attach to drippers and spreaders and stuff like that. But this one actually fits quite nicely with, I think, the 36 meter one or whatever, the dragger, or the 24 meter dragger, whatever, the big one, that goes with the Samson pack or whatever. And then what you can do, because, I mean, unless you have a ton of fifth wheel implements, you can actually choose that and just leave it on there. So that when you need to move it, you just back right up to it and you're good to go. Alright, we're going to take a moment to check something else out. And this is the 6-wheel version. Now the only difference with this, now this is 6-wheel steer too, which is cool. And it has the same frontal setup, right? Like you can attach all your stuff to it. The only difference with this one is the back is a 3-point, and that's it. You can't adjust it. I do want to play with something for a quick second. See? That's what I was talking about before. You've got, for a pin hitch, you can actually raise and lower and adjust the height of it. You can't do that for the ball hitch, but either way, it's good stuff. And you can do that on any of the 3-point links, or this itself will also do that. See? So, that's definitely handy to have. So as I said, I mean, it's the same exact thing, just you can attach your elephant loader, your this to it. A couple things will not attach to the front of either. One being, I believe, that tool transporting, pallet transporting implement thing, I don't believe will attach to the front. Not a big deal, but just something to keep in mind. But there's no difference, just more wheels, and you can't attach various attachments to the back. So, alright, we're almost on to the end. Like I said, I'm just trying to do a quick showcase, give you guys some ideas of what's going on. Now we're on to, I can't for the life of me remember what these are called, the link adapters. Now these are for mowers. And I'll show you why. Alright. One thing I will note too, and I did test this out. I grabbed the Vicon one just because it was there and it was easy. This tractor has so many functions that are mapped to so many various buttons that those swathers you cannot get to fold with this tractor. You have to connect it to another tractor to do it, because whatever button that adjusts those conflicts with this tractor. So I used a different tractor just to fold them down so I could use them for this showcase. So I would suggest, if you're going to do this with the mowers, just use a regular butterfly mower setup, or if you have one with a swather, just use another tractor to put them in the downward position and leave them that way. Alright, so we are going to lower the butterflies and lower the front. Alright, now here's where it gets fun, okay? You got your normal steering, your normal quad steer. Oh, and I forgot to mention this thing, you can change your steering mode to, you know, all the normal front steer only, crab left, crab right, all that stuff. So, as I said before about things and turning screens on and stuff, see how they say on there inactive? If I go to the individual panel and I fold, oh, no, that's wrong. Okay, this one's different. So this one turns the screen off, the fold. It's the pipe out. See how it turned it to active? Now if I go to the front one and do the same thing, active. Now, when I turn, these turn with the wheels. So what that does is the simplest way I can describe it is it turns it into a giant zero-turn mower. Nope. Famous last words. Oh yeah, and you can adjust the actual height of these as well, of the link adapters, just like you can with a 3-point. There we go. The backs are not working. There we go. Alright. Sometimes you gotta tweak the, oh, I know why. Because I'm still in fold mode. Gotta make sure you're unfolded, folks. Alright, so 0 turn. And it looks a lot less jerky if you have a wheel. But you can basically just do an entire field. And it's quite handy. The only thing I will warn you, like most butterflies, if you turn too tightly, like this, huh? It's actually not missing anything. Nice. I could have sworn I missed some last time. Maybe it depends on which ones you use. But the fact that you can like turn on a dime and not miss anything is quite nice. I am missing little spots. I think that's because the height's off a hair. But so those are the link adapters. Alright, so that is, if I haven't missed anything, that is everything from the base Syn Trac pack. And they had updated it about a year ago, and they had added like the seed tank thing and whatnot. So this part right here is actually part of the ITS Winter Pack, which it's by the same people. It's for this vehicle. There are a couple different versions. Just like the seed tank thing, there's like a regular version, then there's like a pro version. You've got your salt spreader, which is basically like your fertilizer spreader, but this one's obviously for salt, so if you're not running seasons, it's kind of pointless. And then you've got your your Syn Trac Plow, and then there's actually a 3-point version too. So if you want to use this on a regular tractor, you can. Or if you want to use it on the 3-point link adapter, you can. And the same thing with the Snowblower. Now the Snowblower can work like the milling machine, and it will pick up anything and chuck it or put it into a trailer. So your arcade's your regular kind, and then the Syn Pro is basically says it gives you real technical data and functionality, and it will emergency stop if it's overloaded. Again, I have not tested out the Pro version. I tend to just use the arcade version, but might be something to check out if you're into that sort of thing. So real quick, we'll just check out the plow, the salt spreader. As I said, the salt spreader, it's basically just like the just like the other thing. Fertilizer spreader. I can't think straight. So, excuse me. And this has your normal up-low function. You can steer it left and right. If you L1, R1, and left, right on the D-pad, you actually pull up the the wheels. So you got your plow function, and then put the wheels up so that when you detach, it stays. I mean, it'll stay on the blade anyway, so. And then last but not least, we have the Snowblower. Raise lower, turn it on. You can adjust the height of the spray. Trying to remember. Oh yeah, this one's got feet too, just like the other thing. Instead of wheels, it's got feet to raise it up. I was trying to remember, I thought you could... It says tip side tower, ejection, left ejection, right. I'm assuming that when you're actually picking something out, it turns. I thought you could manually turn this, and maybe you can. Like I said, it's got so much stuff that sometimes you gotta look for something. Alright. Well, either way, that's the basics. Alright. So that in a nutshell is the Syn Trac and its various configurations, attachments, and basically everything. It's a one tractor fits all. You can pretty much do anything with it. It's compact, it's quad steer, it can lift heavy loads without any issues, it's fast, it can haul stuff, and 420 horsepower, like I said. I mean, that's not too shabby, and the base Syn Trac by itself only costs 320 grand. So, let me make sure I'm quoting that correctly. Yeah, 320 grand for the base model. So, for that kind of horsepower, it's definitely worth it and useful. Oh yeah. Oh, I got the Michelins on this. You can get the, and I'm tangenting now, but let me tangent. Tractor King tires. If you like the Tractor King tires. Alright. So as I said, I believe that's everything. There is a chance I may have missed something. An implement, a function. And I didn't go through every single one, but every time you have a various implement connected, it will have a screen corresponding to it. You can usually turn the screen on and off, and when it's on, in a couple rare cases, the implement will not work if the screen's not on. Usually when you hook up, it automatically turns on, and then obviously certain ones, like the tool lifter, you can actually turn them inactive or active, or like the link adapters, you know, when they're inactive, they're either locked or they don't do anything, and then when you activate them, then you can either move them or they function like the mower attachments do. Yeah. So that's it. The Syn Trac in all its glory. Rejoice! Alright. I'm done. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.